The subject of today's conversation is going to be Enid's stormwater system. The Enid stormwater system consists of many components: a detention facility, a box structure such as this one, channels, concrete trickle channels that help direct the water, outflow control structures, and all the ditches and waterways that you see within the City of Enid. And why does the City of Enid have such a large stormwater system? Historically, we tend to get highly concentrated heavy rains that create flooding problems. We're here at what we call a stormwater regional detention facility, and it's one of several in Enid's stormwater system. These structures are designed such that they control the amount of water that flows out during a heavy rain event to allow water downstream to pass through the city and through our system so we don't end up flooding structures or intersections. My goal is to explain a little bit of how the system works, what the system consists of, how it's maintained, and how we expand it. As you'll notice, this looks like a large grassy area with a trickle channel in it, when in fact it's here to hold a significant amount of stormwater. This is very similar to the one that's at Rolling Oaks, which is behind or at the intersection of Chestnut and Cleveland, and the Oakwood West, which is down south of US 412, Garriott Road, on Garland, across from the new soccer complex. Those are all the major regional detention facilities. The City of Enid was very blessed to have folks back in the 70s, 80s, and 90s who recognized and understood the complexity of the problem that we were experiencing in our stormwater system. You'll recall, if you do a little research in history, that we've had some very large flooding events in the 50s, 70s, and even in the 80s. And it was those people who took the time and the effort to design and lay out a program and a system to address those issues. And over time, we've minimized those issues to the point where the system is working very well, and we rarely, if ever, get inundation, which is what we call stormwater in somebody's house. And to help to control stormwater and flooding, we have an ordinance, it's Title 13, and that requires that when we develop, or a developer comes into town and develops areas of town, that they have to mitigate their impact to the surrounding area and their stormwater runoff to the main channel. That's accomplished through reducing the amount of impervious surface, concrete, adding channels and local detention facilities to control that runoff. And that's how we help mitigate the increased stormwater as the city grows. We have regional detention facilities in many areas of town, and the way we design them is we design them for full development and to have a certain capacity to store water. When we start construction, we start with the discharge structure based on a full development. From there, we construct them and expand them as needed. So once we get the main control structure and the main berm set up for the initial conditions, we can do more excavation and more construction as development occurs. Back in the 80s, the city contracted McLaughlin to do a stormwater study for this part of town. And through that study, he did the modeling of all the channels and the runoff and the impervious. And from those calculations and that modeling, we were able to establish a baseline on where did we need facilities, where did we need channel improvements, and where did we need control structures to control that stormwater. Now, as we go along and development happens, we find that the original plan, although very good, and the model is what we still live by today, it's been updated of course, but it laid the baseline. We find that we have to refocus to different areas of town as development occurs. And so from that particular study and the additional minor studies that we've done in the interim, we keep an eye on what's being developed and where we need to do our work next.